Hello, everybody. This is Stephanie from Telehealth Talent, back to bring you another job lead. This is for Pathgroup. That's the company. It's a phlebotomist float. So that means that you'll be going between different clinics. This is for the Memphis, Tennessee area, 38109, and it pays from $22.50 an hour, and it's a full-time position. $22.50 an hour for a phlebotomist is not bad. Now, I used to work for Pathgroup, and that was back in 2016, so that was before COVID and everything. And it was okay. It was okay for me. It was an okay experience. So let's talk about some of the things that you'll need, some requirements, couple of requirements. You will need to be certified as a phlebotomist. You do have to have a high school diploma or GED. Again, the job pays $22.50 an hour. It's a full-time position Monday through Friday. So here is the actual work schedule. It says 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. The job summary: a phlebotomist float under the direction of an area supervisor performs daily phlebotomy activities of the patient service center, which is a PSC or an IOP. Now, I worked in a PSC, so I worked where people would come in from the area, not just in the office, but the area to get blood drawn or lab services, whatever lab services that I had on the work order. So I actually worked in a patient service center. You also have an IOP, which is an in-office phlebotomist that works for that particular or works in that particular office. Just to explain it. So a phlebotomy floater works assisting with coverage of clinic locations as needed. Travel is required. So you will be traveling from office to office or wherever they need you. You may be filling in for people that may be on maternity leave, or maybe they were sick out of the office for whatever reason. The person in this position interacts with clients, patients, and other Pathgroup personnel in a professional and courteous manner and performs with confidence both the forensic and clinical specimen collection and processing duties following established practices and procedures. So the job responsibilities: ready to travel to a client assignment with a moment's notice. So you can be in one clinic and somebody gets sick. You have to go cover that shift for another phlebotomist in another location. Greet patients appropriately. Treat all customers in a courteous manner. Ensures all field phlebotomy and PSC specimen are collected accurately and on time. Collect specimen according to established procedures. Properly explains in a clear but courteous manner the process of the phlebotomy or venipuncture, blood drawing. So whatever phlebotomy duties you have to do to that patient, explain what's going on to them. They already are leery about getting their blood drawn. Some people, it doesn't bother them, but most of the patients that come in, they don't want their blood drawn already. So they're kind of apprehensive about getting their blood drawn. So it's best to be courteous and explain what's going on. So reduce patient anxiety. So that's what you're doing by talking to them and explaining what's going on. You're reducing their anxiety, possibly. I'll say that. You can possibly reduce their anxiety. Okay, so disposes of blood or other biohazard fluids or tissues in accordance with applicable laws, standards, and policies. Okay, you complete requisitions accurately. So you have to read over that requisition, which is the work order. Read over the requisition, and make sure that the tubes that you're drawing are correct. Make sure that patient is who that patient is. Just make sure you're reading over the requisition act. Enters patient specimen, insurance, and billing information into the computer. So Pathgroup has um, their own system. So you'll be entering that information into their system. It requires attention to detail. You communicate with clients to confirm handwritten orders, verify test order, obtain accurate billing information, diagnosis codes, a UPN or the UPN information, research tests, client information utilizing lab computer system, matches laboratory requisition forms to specimen tubes. Those requisition forms from Pathgroup do tell you what tubes to draw. They do tell you what color and what kind and all that. Package specimen to transport. At the end of the day, you have to package everything. You have to make sure everything is correct. You have to make sure the requisition forms match the patient tubes. You have to make sure that those stickers are correctly on each tube or whatever specimen that you collected for the day. Maintain required records and documentation. It's a lot to do, but it's worth learning. It's a lot to do, but it's worth learning, okay? Approves time in attendance software by noon on Monday following the end of the pay period. Adheres to departmental company code of grooming and dress code. Displays courteous and professional behavior. Answers the telephone in a friendly and helpful manner. Perform duties in independent manner. So that's just some of the responsibilities. The education and licensure. You do have to have a high school diploma or GED. That is a requirement. You do have to have medical training as a medical assistant or phlebotomist or a paramedic. That is just a preferred option. That's just what they prefer. It's not required. It's not required. But you do have to have a certification as a phlebotomist. That is a requirement. That is a requirement. Other requirements must access to reliable must have access. Must have access to reliable transportation and communication. Proof of auto insurance is required. Overnight stays may be required. A minimum of 1 year prior job related experience. That is a requirement as well. So you do have to have at least 1 year of prior phlebotomy experience. Okay, now I never stayed overnight anywhere when I worked for Pathgroup, but again, overnight stays may be required. Maybe is the key. Those are key words. May be required. So it is a full-time position, Monday through Friday. It pays $22.50 an hour, and it is in the Memphis, Tennessee area, as I stated before, 38109, and it's in person. So again, this is the phlebotomist float position for Pathgroup. You need to have a phlebotomy certification. a high school diploma or GED. It pays $22.50 an hour, full-time Monday through Friday. The schedule is 8 to 5. You'll be working in a patient service center, or you'll be an in-office phlebotomist. The phlebotomy floats between different offices. These are some of the requirements. If you decide to apply, you can come back and read all of these requirements. It looks like a lot, but it's really not. It's really not. It just looks like a lot on paper. It does look like a lot here. But here is your education and licensure. You do have to have a high school diploma, GED. They prefer you to have medical training as a medical assistant or a paramedic, but it's not required. But what is required is that phlebotomy certification. And it doesn't matter what organization as long as you are certified as a phlebotomist. You do have to have reliable transportation. You have to have reliable transportation. You have to be able to communicate, and you have to have auto insurance. That's a requirement because you will be driving back and forth between different clinics. Overnight stay may be required, but 1 year prior job related experience is required. That is definitely a requirement. They want you to come in confident and knowing what you're doing. As I stated before, the requisition forms for Pathgroup, they do tell you what tubes to draw, what color tubes to draw. It tells you on the requisition form. So if you have that experience but don't really have that knowledge of what tubes go with what tests, that requisition form does tell you. It's pretty easy to maneuver through their system. But again, full time, $22.50 an hour, Monday through Friday. Memphis, Tennessee, in the 38109 area. So this is an in-person. This is an in-person position for Pathgroup. So you will be traveling around. It's a floater position. Okay. I'll make sure that I put the website, the link in the description box so that you will be free to do your own research. Make sure Pathgroup is a company that you would like to work for. Look at their stats, look at their pros and cons of working there. Do reviews, go on their website, things of that nature. Do your own research. Make sure you research the company before you apply to see if you're a good fit for them or they're a good fit for you. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Again, this is Stephanie with Telehealth Talent, and I bring to you job leads in the healthcare world, travel, remote, and in-person job leads. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.